The Upachaya Houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Libra Rising Part One. From Harmony to Strategy, where grace learns grit and diplomacy becomes direction. For Libra Rising, the Upachaya Houses, 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 11th, form the evolutionary ladder, where Venus-ruled charm and balance are forged into resilient action, structured ambition, and social intelligence. Libra is born to harmonize, to bridge difference, to cultivate elegance and interaction. But these houses are not about ease. They grow only through friction, repetition, confrontation, and effort over time. In these houses, Libra Rising is invited to move from aesthetics to effectiveness, from pleasing others to prioritizing progress. Each Upachaya becomes a phase in the development from relational idealist to real-world strategist, where charm becomes currency and justice becomes execution. The 3rd house, Sagittarius, expansive expression, ethical will, and bold communication. Activated ages 3, 15, 27, 39, 51, 63, 75. With Sagittarius ruling the 3rd house, Libra Rising is gifted with a philosophical, idealistic approach to communication and courage. They are driven to speak from conviction, often inspired by ideals of fairness, culture, or spiritual truth. This house governs speech, siblings, courage, and short-term goals. In early life, this may manifest as preachy tone, scattered interests, or intellectual overreach without grounded follow-through. But with age, Libra learns to combine belief with clarity, to become a storyteller who inspires action, a communicator who teaches through lived wisdom. The lesson is to channel conviction not into lectures, but into purposeful, persuasive skill. This is where Libra Rising shifts from diplomacy to directional speech. The 6th house, Pisces. Sacred service, emotional complexity, and inner work through outer labor. Activated ages 6, 18, 30, 42, 54, 66, 78. With Pisces in the 6th, Libra Rising faces a paradox, a sign of transcendence placed in the house of daily routine, problem-solving, and grit. Here, the one who seeks peace must learn to deal with mess, conflict, and emotional chaos. This house challenges Libra to serve without expectation, to bring grace into imperfection, and to heal through ritual. Early life may bring confusion around work direction, escapism from daily responsibilities, or boundary issues in service roles. But in time, Libra Rising learns to infuse their service with spiritual resonance, to bring empathy to organization, and to treat the act of helping others as sacred. Healing becomes a pattern, not a project. The 10th house, Cancer. Emotional authority, public nurturing, and soft power leadership. Activated ages 10, 22, 34, 46, 58, 70, 82. Cancer at the top of the chart gives Libra Rising a public path tied to care, sensitivity, protection, and legacy through feeling. Here, the refined aesthetic of Libra is tasked with holding emotional space in a visible karmic way. Early in life, this may bring shyness, fear of exposure, or erratic career starts driven by mood or emotional conflict with authority. But over time, Libra Rising becomes known for emotional intelligence and leadership. They rise in roles where people feel seen and safe, whether through education, design, policy, hospitality, or emotional storytelling. This house teaches them that real public power is nurturing, not commanding, and that trust is the foundation of their influence. The 11th house, Leo, passionate vision, magnetic networks, and the courage to shine in the collective. Activated ages 11, 23, 35, 47, 59, 71, 83. With Leo in the 11th, Libra Rising must overcome the fear of standing out. This is the house of gains, alliances, and collective achievement. But ruled by the Sun, it demands that Libra own their individuality in group settings. Early life may bring avoidance of attention, deferral to louder voices, or internal tension between fitting in and standing apart. But this house matures beautifully when Libra Rising learns to lead in style, shine with purpose, and influence with heart. They may be drawn to artistic or political collectives, social causes, or glamorous networks that align with their values. Their growth blooms when they understand that belonging doesn't mean blending in. It means shining so others can too. In summary, the Upachaya houses for Libra Rising are where charm meets challenge. Sagittarius in the 3rd urges brave communication of principles. Pisces in the 6th teaches the beauty of service in imperfection. Cancer in the 10th asks them to lead through nurture. Leo in the 11th pushes them to claim space without guilt. Through these houses, Libra learns to channel their harmony into impact, their elegance into execution, and their justice into action. When integrated, Libra Rising becomes not just a peacekeeper, but a purposeful leader in the arena of real growth. The Upachaya Houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Libra Rising Part 2. 8 most defining conjunctions in the Upachaya Houses, where grace faces friction and diplomacy gains edge. For Libra Rising, the Upachaya Houses, 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 11th, are the territories where Venus-ruled harmony is forged into courage, clarity, consistency, and conscious leadership. These houses are ruled by fire, Sagittarius, water, Pisces, water again, Cancer, and fire once more, a swirl of emotion and expression that challenges Libra's core desire to maintain peace. The conjunctions in these houses define how Libra Rising matures into a principled yet proactive presence, where social ease meets structured strength. Mercury's Jupiter in the 3rd, the expansive messenger or the preachy debater. In Sagittarius, this gives Libra Rising a commanding, articulate voice, ideal for teaching, media, publishing, or campaign work. They communicate with clarity and philosophical weight, but when afflicted, it becomes overtalking, moral superiority, or constant explanation without integration. Growth happens when they let wisdom be conversational, not a performance, and when they inspire without instructing. Sun plus Mercury in the 3rd, the leader of language or the ego-centered communicator. This duo gives Libra Rising courage to express ideas, debate, and present with charisma. But if immature, the ego leads the dialogue, resulting in arrogance or a need to win conversations. Their evolution lies in using intelligence to bridge, not bulldoze. They become leaders when they listen as much as they articulate. Moon Ketu in the 6th, the invisible healer or the emotionally drained helper. In Pisces, this deeply karmic conjunction draws Libra Rising into spiritual caregiving, emotional service, or subtle therapeutic work. But early in life, it may bring boundary confusion, chronic fatigue, or self-sacrificial service roles. Their strength emerges when they learn to serve without dissolving, and when they trust that detachment doesn't mean disconnection. Venus plus Mercury in the 6th, the graceful worker or the polished overthinker. This pairing brings intellect and beauty to Libra Rising's service, ideal for wellness industries, aesthetics, or diplomacy in the workplace. But it can lead to procrastination or avoidance of discomfort. Growth comes when they embrace structure alongside elegance and let precision be an act of care. Sun plus Moon in the 10th, the emotional leader or the identity-tangled professional. This luminary blend in Cancer gives Libra Rising natural public visibility through heart-based work, education, hospitality, or the arts. But afflicted, it brings emotional vulnerability, career swings, or people-pleasing in public life. Maturity is found when they lead from inner clarity, not external emotion, and define success through service, not spotlight. Mars Moon in the 10th, the protective public figure or the reactive careerist. This fiery water combo grants Libra Rising strong drive in public roles and fierce loyalty to their profession. They thrive in advocacy, activism, or urgent care professions. But if unevolved, it leads to burnout, emotional volatility, or defensiveness in reputation. Strength ripens when they respond without reacting and protect their mission, not just their image. Venus Sun in the 11th, the glamorous connector, or the admiration seeker. In Leo, this pairing gives Libra Rising charisma, warmth, and social magnetism. They attract high-profile circles, artistic allies, or influential friends. But if afflicted, it creates dependence on validation or performative belonging. Their true gain comes when they shine from authenticity and build networks that share the light, not just reflect it. Rahu plus Mars in the 11th, the bold visionary or the disruptive influencer. This high-impact combo fuels Libra Rising with ambition, social daring, and innovation. They may lead movements, startups, or community transformation efforts, but Rahu can distort Mars into impatience, rebelliousness, or conflict-seeking. Evolution comes when they direct boldness into purpose and realize that true leadership amplifies others, not just self. In summary, the Upachaya Houses for Libra Rising test whether harmony can evolve into honest influence. Sagittarius in the 3rd demands truth in speech, Pisces in the 6th refines service into sacred practice. Cancer in the 10th teaches emotional maturity and visibility. And Leo in the 11th asks them to shine with courage. Each conjunction becomes a lens through which Libra rising converts grace into growth, diplomacy into decisive contribution. When fully awakened, they become not just balanced, but brilliantly brave in both private effort and public presence. The Upachaya Houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Libra Rising Part 3. The 6th house, Pisces, Compassion in Conflict, Surrender in Service, and Spiritual Discipline, where the diplomat learns devotion and the seeker of harmony becomes the healer of chaos. For Libra rising, the 6th house, the terrain of routine, illness, service, problem-solving, and daily conflict, falls in Pisces, ruled by Jupiter and co-ruled by Neptune, or Ketu classically. Here, Venus-ruled Libra, elegant, relational, and idealistic, must enter a house that tests its grace against grit. But Pisces brings a strange twist to this daily battleground. It asks Libra rising not to fight, but to flow. Not to control, but to surrender through sacred structure. This is the house where Libra rising's need for outer harmony must mature into inner alignment. They cannot avoid mess here. Pisces makes sure the path to healing involves emotional complexity, spiritual fatigue, and karmic service. Yet when embraced, this becomes the house where Libra turns empathy into mastery and sacrifice into quiet power. Let's explore the defining conjunctions in Pisces that shape Libra rising's maturity in this deeply karmic Upachaya house. Moon plus Ketu, the spiritual nurse or the invisible empath. This deeply karmic combination gives Libra rising an instinct for silent healing. They may be drawn to caring professions, animal rescue, intuitive medicine, or behind-the-scenes service. But early on, they can feel emotionally depleted, unrecognized, or unsure where the boundary between their pain and others lies. Growth begins when they own their gift of quiet healing, and withdrawal isn't weakness, it's restoration. Venus plus Jupiter, the sacred aesthetic or the overcomforted server. This benefic pairing gives Libra rising grace, generosity, and spiritual ease in daily work. They serve through art, teaching, or emotional hospitality. But if afflicted, it may create overindulgence, blurred boundaries, or escapism in routine. Their growth lies in turning beauty into discipline and making compassion strategic, not scattered. Mercury's Neptune, the mystic organizer or the anxious dream. This pairing gives Virgo's opposite Libra a rare dose of poetic insight and service. Libra rising here may work in wellness, holistic therapy, or mystical health systems. Yet when immature, they lose structure in vagueness or fall into worry loops. Maturity blooms when they trust intuition without abandoning instruction and structure their gifts to support others, not exhaust themselves. Sun plus Neptune, the soul-driven server or the ego-disoriented worker. This conjunction blesses Libra rising with the ability to serve without spotlight. They are drawn to meaningful with mission-based work, especially in healing arts, NGOs, or compassionate systems. But early on, it may bring identity confusion, martyrdom, or a sense of invisibility. Their path clears when they serve from soul, not for recognition, and remember that impact doesn't need an audience. Mars Moon, the emotional rescuer or the reactive caregiver. This fire-water combo gives Libra rising urgency and care. They may work in emergency support, trauma therapy, or activism. They are protective, brave, and emotionally responsive, but if unevolved, reactive, defensive, or drained by drama. The lesson is to respond rather than absorb, and to protect others without sacrificing their own center. Saturn plus Venus, the devoted reformer or the duty-bound aesthetic. This powerful conjunction fuses Libra's ruler Venus with Saturn's structure. It makes them long-term caregivers, designers of healing systems, or loyal service workers. But it may bring emotional restriction, obligation over joy, or burnout from perfectionism. Their wisdom ripens when they infuse love into labor and embrace that grace under pressure is not denial, it's devotion. Rahu plus Mercury, the visionary problem solver or the nervous fixer. In Pisces, this pair grants Libra rising sharp healing insight and a desire to modernize spiritual care, mental wellness, or service technology. But if imbalanced, it causes nervous energy, fixation on flaws, or overwhelm from overthinking. Their liberation begins when they use innovation for elevation, not control, and when intellect partners with intuition, not overrides it. Jupiter, Mars, the faithful executor or the overzealous worker. This blend gives Libra rising strong ethical energy in daily labor. They may become trainers, reformers, or educators in fields of physical or spiritual health. But when afflicted, it brings overwork in the name of ideals or misdirected effort. Their evolution lies in letting values guide their actions, not blind urgency, and in working wisely, not just intensely. In summary, Pisces in the 6th house teaches Libra rising that not all service is tidy. Some healing happens through letting go, some mastery through invisible work. These conjunctions reveal how the graceful diplomat transforms into the quiet pillar behind complex systems of care. They learn that true service requires both surrender and structure, and that healing the world starts with making peace with imperfection. When integrated, Libra rising becomes not just a mediator, but a mystic engineer of wellness and wise, compassionate systems. The Upachaya Houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Libra Rising Part 4. The 10th house, Cancer, Emotional Legacy, Public Nurturing, and Quiet Authority through Care. Where the diplomat becomes the protector and influence is measured by emotional impact. For Libra rising, the 10th house, Karma Bhava, the domain of public role, professional purpose, and visible contribution, falls in Cancer, ruled by the moon. Unlike Leo or Capricorn 10th houses, Cancer doesn't demand domination or hardline status. It asks for emotional stewardship. Here, Venus-ruled Libra, known for charm, justice, and aesthetics, is invited into the world of emotional labor, nurturing leadership and legacy through care. This is where Libra learns to lead, not with force, but with feeling, to show up not just to design harmony, but to sustain it during discomfort. Cancer in the 10th house insists that work be meaningful, emotionally anchored, and driven by a deep instinct to protect or guide others. And Libra's karmic growth lies in learning that real elegance includes emotional risk. Let's explore the most defining conjunctions in Cancer that shape Libra rising's evolution in public responsibility and soulful contribution. Moon plus Sun, the compassionate authority or the conflicted leader. This luminary fusion in the 10th house gives Libra rising a powerful emotional presence in public. They're capable of leading with heart and inspiring trust through vulnerability. But when afflicted, it causes mood-driven career decisions, identity confusion, or overdependence on external recognition. Growth comes when they trust their inner compass more than crowd reaction and realize that influence doesn't require performance, just authenticity. Moon plus Saturn, the responsible mentor or the emotionally guarded professional. This karmic blend creates emotional endurance in leadership. Libra rising may appear calm and stable to the public, often taking on roles that require care with structure, education, psychology, HR, or family-based enterprises. But early in life, it brings a burdened sense of duty or discomfort expressing emotions in authority. Wisdom blooms when they allow their own softness without fear of collapse and hold space for others without freezing their own heart. Venus plus Moon, the social healer or the praise-driven facilitator. This elegant pairing makes Libra rising highly magnetic in caregiving professions, beauty-oriented vocations, or emotionally tuned leadership roles. They may be admired in public for their taste, grace, and soothing influence. But when imbalanced, it creates a craving for appreciation or dependency on public affection. They evolve when they build systems that nourish regardless of validation and offer care without attachment to applause. Sun plus Mars, the protective force or the overbearing advocate. This action-driven combination gives Libra rising courageous energy in the public realm. They may rise in activism, government, public welfare, or leadership roles that involve protection and emotional defense. But if unevolved, it manifests as emotional impulsiveness, reputation volatility, or defensiveness under scrutiny. Strength ripens when they protect through guidance, not control, and when leadership emerges from conviction, not just reaction. Mercury plus Moon, the emotional communicator or the over-explaining caregiver. This blend gifts Libra rising with intuitive communication in public life. They may lead as counselors, authors, educators, or thought leaders in emotional wellness. But afflicted, it leads to mood-based messaging, over-apologizing, or anxious over-articulation. Mastery arrives when they match feeling with clarity and allow vulnerability to be a strength, not a stutter. Rahu plus Moon, the empathic visionary or the emotionally unstable public figure. This karmic combination makes Libra rising emotionally magnetic in unpredictable ways. It can propel them into fame through storytelling, healing arts, or emotionally resonant causes. But Rahu can amplify instability, mood swings, or boundary confusion. Evolution occurs when they stabilize their emotional foundation and understand that emotional transparency requires energetic sovereignty. Saturn plus Mars, the strategic advocate or the resentful rescuer. This powerful pair gives Libra rising strength in systems that care: institutions, elder care, political reforms, or structural emotional intelligence. It makes them tireless leaders in service roles. But afflicted, it causes bitterness, exhaustion, or reluctance to show softness. Healing begins when they let duty serve love, not replace it, and when they lead with humble conviction, not armor. Sun plus Mercury, the rational nurturer or the ego-driven problem solver. This pairing makes Libra rising a thoughtful guide, someone who blends logic with emotional awareness in public roles. They may shine as policymakers, wellness speakers, or caretakers of collective emotion. But afflicted, it brings rigidity in tone or the need to prove intellect in nurturing spaces. Balance arises when they let their clarity nourish, not critique, and use words to hold space, not just define it. In summary, Cancer in the 10th house teaches Libra rising that their career must feel like home for others, but also for themselves. These conjunctions reveal how they grow from graceful presence into emotional anchor, from people-pleasing into purposeful protection. The public karma is not to impress, but to stabilize, guide, and gently lead others into emotional clarity. When integrated, Libra rising becomes not just a beautiful voice in the room, but the one who makes others feel safe to speak, feel, and become themselves. The Upachaya Houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Libra Rising Part 5. The 11th house, Leo, courageous vision, magnetic networks, and creative contribution to the collective, where the peacemaker learns to lead and social grace evolves into inspiring presence. For Libra rising, the 11th house, Labasthana, the realm of long-term goals, alliances, social fulfillment, and material gains, falls in Leo, ruled by the sun. This is a fiery and expressive house that challenges Venus-ruled Libra to step out from their diplomatic shadows and own their radiance within the group. Leo in the 11th house insists that Libra rising stop merely harmonizing from behind the scenes and instead initiate, shine, and elevate others through creative leadership. This is where Libra must learn to stand alone within the collective, not for egoic display, but to model the strength of authenticity. Early life may bring discomfort around visibility or fear of overshadowing others. But maturity teaches that true belonging is not about blending in. It's about showing up as your brightest self and letting that invite others to rise too. Let's explore the defining conjunctions in Leo that shape Libra rising's growth through social karma, group influence, and goal fulfillment. Sun plus Venus, the social star or the admiration-seeking idealist. This brilliant combination makes Libra rising highly charismatic, stylish, and popular within networks. They often become the center of artistic, fashion, or cause-driven circles. Their grace and charm open doors. But when afflicted, this leads to an unhealthy dependence on admiration or performative social engagement. Their evolution begins when they lead with substance behind their style, and when their beauty uplifts, not distracts. Sun plus Mercury, the influential voice or the opinion-dominated collaborator. This blend gives Libra rising strong communication power in groups. They may become thought leaders, campaign strategists, or creators of social dialogue. But early on, it can cause domination in group discussions, or an unconscious need to control the narrative. Maturity arises when they speak to inspire, not impress, and use their clarity to build, not broadcast. Sun plus Mars, the bold organizer or the self-centered mobilizer. This fiery pair fuels Libra rising with ambition to lead collective efforts. They're brave in taking up leadership roles, especially in activism, entrepreneurship, or public causes. But when imbalanced, it creates ego clashes in friendships, competitiveness in group dynamics, or burnout from overmanaging. Growth comes when they share power and realize that impact multiplies when others are empowered too. Venus plus Mars, the magnetic visionary or the charmer-challenger hybrid. This conjunction blends desire and diplomacy. Libra Rising becomes a creative catalyst, able to rally people through aesthetics, passion, or shared ideals. Great for curating artistic projects, political art, or branded movements. But when unevolved, it creates romantic entanglements in networks or hidden rivalries. They evolve when they use beauty to build bridges and align desire with direction. Moon plus Sun, the emotional leader or the approval-driven visionary. This inner light blend makes Libra Rising emotionally expressive in social roles. They may become natural nurturers in leadership, loved for their warmth and generosity. But when afflicted, it creates emotional dependency on public validation or inconsistency in goals. Maturity blooms when they lead from emotional security, not attention-seeking, and when they recognize that true admiration is born from authenticity, not effort. Rahu plus Mercury, the viral voice or the overstimulated networker. This futuristic pairing pushes Libra Rising into digital platforms, online communities, or unconventional social dialogues. Their words spread fast, their ideas excite, and they often gain through media or tech. But Rahu can create chaos, scattered goals, social anxiety, or echo chamber effects. Integration comes when they ground their message in truth and use reach to elevate purpose, not just presence. Moon plus Venus, the harmonizer of hearts or the overinvested friend. This gentle pair blesses Libra Rising with deep emotional magnetism and loyal friendships. They create nurturing circles, emotional safety, and soothing spaces in community life. But if imbalanced, they can become overly attached, codependent, or resentful if not appreciated. Their strength awakens when they give without giving themselves away and let love flow with boundaries intact. Jupiter plus Sun, the noble visionary or the moralistic leader. This regal combination gives Libra Rising the stature to lead with wisdom and idealism. They may rise in political, philanthropic, or educational circles, inspiring others with clarity and dignity. But when afflicted, it breeds arrogance, preaching, or overpromising. Their higher path unfolds when they lead with humility and channel their vision into service, not just stature. In summary, Leo in the 11th house teaches Libra Rising that your light is meant to shine among others, not be dimmed to maintain peace. These conjunctions show whether they will step into confident contribution or hide behind social moderation. The fire of Leo demands that they stop measuring their worth by how many are pleased, and instead lead through embodied passion, heartfelt courage, and unapologetic authenticity. When integrated, Libra Rising becomes not just the beloved guest at the table, but the visionary who builds it, beautifies it, and invites the whole room to rise together.